Great. Hi, guys. We have Alex here, CEO of IDEX, and he's going to walk us through some of the things that he's been working on with the IDEX team.
Great. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate the intro. Thanks, everyone, for attending, and thanks to the Moonbeam Network for putting on this event and giving us an opportunity to tell you a little bit more about IDEX and our experience with the development process on Moonbeam. My name is Alex Wearn. I'm the co-founder and CEO of IDEX. I've spent my career primarily in software, mostly in product management roles. Most recently, I was at Amazon, where I was leading the product management for Amazon Logistics capacity planning. From a crypto perspective, I've been following since about 2012, when I first found out about Bitcoin. Bought a little bit in 2013, which, like most people, once you buy some crypto and it starts to go up in price, you start to pay attention to it and learn more about it. And really became fascinated from a career perspective with the launch of Ethereum and the introduction of the idea of smart contracts. This idea that you can build applications that rely either wholly or partly on a blockchain network for the operations. And in doing so, you can decentralize components of the operation and make it a better user experience, whether that's more secure, more trustworthy, et cetera. So with that, we had kind of the idea for our exchange known as IDEX, and it really built on that concept of using smart contracts to build something that is trustworthy. In this case, trustworthy around custody. So everyone's probably aware of the numerous number of issues with hacks and thefts in the cryptocurrency space. Most recently, there was an exchange in Turkey that appears to have run off with $2 billion of customer deposits. And it's kind of an odd juxtaposition, or maybe an irony, that most people's experience with these blockchain assets which are designed to free you from the control of centralized third parties. Most people's first experience is to trade them on a centralized platform where they relinquish control and custody of the assets to the platform operator. So that's our goal here at IDEX, to really take on those centralized exchanges, to build an exchange product that allows users to trade cryptocurrencies, but without having that custody risk that comes with the current exchange architecture. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and talk to you a little bit more about what we're building at IDEX. Okay, so IDEX, we call IDEX a high-performance decentralized exchange. We achieve that performance by doing what we call a hybrid design. So if people are familiar with blockchains, you're probably aware of the fact that while they bring a lot of benefits in terms of increased trust, transparency, reliability, one of the sacrifices that you make is performance. So because these blockchain networks are replicated across many nodes around the world, you're going to have lower speeds and lower throughput than a traditional application architecture. Now, for something like a cryptocurrency exchange that relies on market makers and traders updating trades and orders often thousands of times per second, this can be problematic, because these networks just don't have the throughput or capacity necessary to support what's known as the central limit order book design of a cryptocurrency exchange, what most of you probably think of as cryptocurrency exchanges. So there's a lot of creative responses to that, in particular, the creation of liquidity pools. I believe Balancer just shared some of the work that they're doing. So that's a great innovative approach to addressing some of these drawbacks. We came at it from a little bit different of an angle, creating what we've called a hybrid decentralized exchange. Now, the idea here is to separate out the components that are performant, the elements that need high throughput, high kind of server capacity, in particular, the order book and matching process, from the blockchain-based elements, in this case, custody and settlement. So we've created this hybrid design that allows all of the off-chain systems to manage the order book, matching, and execution process of trading. So everything you kind of think about in terms of the steps of creating an order, matching with other users, and executing that order, where the orders are matched with one another and the balances update. Separating that from the custody and settlement. So we paired this off-chain architecture with a smart contract that manages all of the deposits and balances of the users, as well as the settlement of transactions between different users. And with this design, we're able to get really that nice blend of performance and security. So you don't have to sacrifice on the user experience that customers have come to know and love from centralized exchanges. But at the same time, you're able to achieve this user experience without having to turn over custody to a third party, which has normally been a requirement of having a more performant cryptocurrency exchange. So before I jump into the demo, I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk a little bit about our experience developing on Polkadot and Moonbeam in particular, and why we've chosen to go this direction. So we believe that blockchain is going to be a multi-chain future because of some of the things I talked about in terms of limitations on performance, throughput, et cetera. You're seeing a lot of projects play around with kind of different trade-offs and different underlying properties in order to design a blockchain that is ideal for their specific use case. And I think over the last year, you've really seen an explosion of alternative blockchains that have catered to different needs of different customers, either app-specific chains or some chains that have made sacrifices in certain areas in order to achieve better properties in others. As an exchange, we want to be able to support as many assets as possible for trading. And so naturally, new networks are interesting to us, but in particular, something like Polkadot that has a focus on interoperability. The end goal for us is to have a one exchange platform that can trade every single cryptocurrency in existence. And so that's why the idea of having interoperable chains where assets can move from one network to another is really appealing to us because it would allow us to trade the whole gamut of cryptocurrencies and let our customers trade all of those within one UX and one kind of custody and settlement system. Maybe one interesting aside. So if you asked me a year ago, I would have told you that it'd be pretty hard to unseat the lead that Ethereum in particular had around kind of the confluence of developers and projects that were building on the network. And over the last year, you've really seen an explosion of alternatives and progress in other areas. And Moonbeam is one of the ones we're really excited about because of its use of EVM compatibility. So if you're not familiar with that phrase, EVM compatibility is the idea that the blockchain supports the Ethereum virtual machine. What that means for teams like IDEX is that all of the work that we've done building out our application, developing our smart contracts, testing and auditing those smart contracts, as well as the broader tooling and infrastructure that has been created by the community, in particular things like wallets, all of that works out of the box. It doesn't require any significant major changes in order to support a network that is EVM compatible. And this is a really powerful idea for us because we actually, a couple years ago, started to look at a multi-chain kind of expansion of IDEX and ran into all of those issues that I just described that EVM compatibility is designed to solve. We had to have two code bases in order to support two different sets of blockchain-based contracts. It was an entirely different model when it came to things like estimating transaction costs. And it was a whole new usage pattern that our customers were trying to learn. So we're extremely bullish on these types of networks that make it easy for a lot of the hard work to be leveraged because we think it'll lead to faster growth and faster onboarding of both project teams and users. So obviously, with that in mind, Moonbeam is extremely compelling opportunity for us. So just a brief kind of summary of how it's been going for us. In short, it's been a great experience so far. So we've been engaging with the folks at Pure Stake for maybe a little over 6 months now, and they've been really helpful getting us up to speed. We had a developer dig into the testnet a couple months ago, and within 1 week, he was able to get the full application up and running end to end. That includes deploying contracts, getting everything in terms of the supporting infrastructure. As I mentioned, we have this hybrid design, so there's other components just outside of the smart contract deployment that are necessary to support the application. So I can't overstate how important that compatibility has been to us. and it's been a great user experience developing on the platform so far. So without further ado, I'll jump into a quick overview and demo of IDEX, the application. So as I said, we've got the smart contracts deployed, but we haven't had the chance to finalize the remaining components of the app. So you'll see some references to the Ethereum version. But for the most part, this is exactly how the Moonbeam version will look and operate as well. The first thing you'll notice is that it looks a lot like other exchanges. And that's by design. The goal here is to have something that is familiar to users, both in terms of the look and feel, but also in terms of the performance and throughput. Our goal is to offer an exchange that doesn't require that users sacrifice performance or reliability in order to get those benefits of non-custodial smart contract-based custody and settlement. One of the things I highlighted was the throughput of the kind of order book and matching engine. So you can see that down here on the order book, we've got a load generator script that just sits in the background and places and cancels orders that those that are trying out the demo can trade against. It doesn't create the most beautiful chart, as you can see by the order execution here. But we wanted to highlight and point out how quickly the order book state is able to update. This is real-time creation and submission of orders, and we're able to do it cheaply because none of these transactions are actually going to the network unless you actually match an order for execution and settlement. One other thing to highlight, we have an API that's been designed to match that of some of the industry-leading APIs. The goal is to make it as easy as possible for market makers and algorithmic traders to get up and running. So if you take a look at our documentation, you'll see it's quite robust and has a lot of the kind of properties, and it's kind of aligned with the top exchanges that make it as easy as possible for those who've built algorithmic strategies or market making strategies to bring them over to IDEX. So yeah, the last piece, just wanted to show an order in action. So we've got a lot of advanced order types. So addition into market order, you can also do things like stop loss, post only, fill or kill, etc. The goal here being making it as easy as possible to replicate some of the more advanced trading strategies that previously haven't been able to be implemented on decentralized exchanges. In this case, I'll just show a simple market order. The user doesn't have to worry about what orders are available. We have the matching engine behind the scenes that will match the user with the appropriate order whenever they click buy and execute. And you can see how quickly that order executed and appeared in the trade history. What's happening is the matching engine received the signed transaction from the account that I'm using here, matched it with an existing order on the books, and immediately executed the trade, while behind the scenes, that transaction has been sent to the underlying network for settlement. So we achieved this performance by separating the act of matching and executing trades from the actual settlement process that occurs a little bit later at the speed of the underlying blockchain. And that's it for IDEX. Hope you guys got something out of this demo. If you want to connect with me after, you can find me on Twitter at Wearn. You can reach out to us at IDEX IO. And thanks everyone for attending, and thanks again to the Pure Stake and Moonbeam folks for giving me this opportunity to present.
Great. Thank you, Alex. This was very impressive. Thank you for showing this. We are going to jump over to the next demo, which is Seascape. They'll be showing off a couple of their NFT and DeFi games. So if you want to head over to that, again, toggles at the top, you can switch right over. Thanks again, Alex.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.